The Story of Esther. A Persian king and his royal court. In ancient Persia, during the reign of King Ahasuerus, commonly identified with Xerxes I, who ruled from 486 to 465 BCE, a grand empire stretched from India to Ethiopia. The king ruled from his opulent palace in Susa, the capital city, and hosted lavish banquets that showcased the wealth and splendor of his kingdom. Queen Vashti's defiance. One day, King Ahasuerus decided to showcase the beauty of his kingdom by hosting a 7-day feast filled with music, wine, and extravagant displays. On the 7th day, he commanded his wife, Queen Vashti, to appear before him and his guests to display her beauty. Vashti, a woman of dignity and strength, refused the king's demand, asserting her autonomy and modesty. This act of defiance angered the king, leading him to seek counsel from his wise advisors. They suggested that Vashti's disobedience might encourage other women in the empire to defy their husbands, threatening the social order. Consequently, King Ahasuerus deposed Queen Vashti and decreed that a new queen would be chosen. Esther becomes queen. To find a new queen, King Ahasuerus ordered a nationwide search across the empire, bringing young women to Susa to undergo beauty treatments and selections. Among these women was a Jewish orphan named Hadassah, better known by her Hebrew name, Esther. Raised by her cousin Mordecai, Esther was known for her grace, beauty, and intelligence. Esther entered the king's harem, where many women vied for the king's favor. After a period of selection and competition, Esther won King Ahasuerus's heart and was crowned the new queen, while Mordecai remained at the palace gates, unaware of his cousin's rise to royalty. Mordecai and Haman's plot. Mordecai, Esther's guardian, was a devout Jew who regularly sat at the palace gates, where he monitored news and events. One day, Mordecai uncovered a plot to assassinate King Ahasuerus. He reported this to Esther, who in turn informed the king. The conspirators were arrested and executed, and the incident was recorded in the royal chronicles. During this time, Haman, an ambitious and power-hungry official, rose to prominence. King Ahasuerus favored Haman and bestowed upon him high honors. However, Mordecai refused to bow to Haman, adhering to his Jewish faith and customs. Haman, enraged by this perceived slight, plotted not only against Mordecai but against all Jews in the empire. The decree of annihilation. Haman convinced King Ahasuerus to issue a decree ordering the extermination of all Jews in Persia. He cast lots, Purim in Hebrew, to determine the date of the massacre, which was set for the 13th day of the month of Adar. The decree was sealed with the king's signet ring, making it irrevocable. Mordecai learned of the plot and implored Esther to intercede with the king on behalf of her people. However, approaching the king without being summoned was punishable by death unless the king extended his golden scepter to spare the individual. Esther's courage and intervention. Esther, recognizing the gravity of the situation, instructed Mordecai to gather all Jews in Susa to fast and pray for 3 days. She, too, fasted, showing solidarity and seeking divine guidance. After the fasting period, Esther bravely approached the king, risking her life to plead for her people. The king, moved by her presence and grace, extended his scepter, allowing her to speak. Esther invited the king and Haman to 2 banquets she had prepared. During the second banquet, Esther revealed her Jewish identity and exposed Haman's plot to destroy her people. She recounted how Haman had manipulated the king's decree and threatened her life. Enraged by the betrayal, King Ahasuerus ordered Haman to be executed on the very gallows Haman had prepared for Mordecai. The Jews' salvation and the Feast of Purim. Though the initial decree could not be revoked, King Ahasuerus issued a new edict allowing the Jews to defend themselves against their enemies on the appointed day. The Jews successfully repelled their attackers, ensuring their survival. To commemorate their deliverance, Mordecai established the festival of Purim, celebrating the courage of Esther, the loyalty of Mordecai, and the salvation of the Jewish people. Purim is observed annually with readings of the Book of Esther, feasting, giving gifts, and acts of charity. Legacy of Esther's story. The story of Esther is a powerful narrative of bravery, faith, and the impact one individual can have in the face of oppression. It highlights themes of identity, courage, and divine providence, inspiring generations to stand up against injustice and to protect their communities. Esther's story is celebrated in the Hebrew Bible in the Book of Esther and holds significant cultural and religious importance, particularly in Judaism, where it underscores the values of courage and advocacy in the face of adversity.